That treadmill gets harder every time. Hello, everyone. We're all here at the local gym getting into shape for our next Disney trip. Working out with me are Jill, Sammy, Lloyd, John, Claire, and Ben and Becca. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Take 5, everybody. Everybody knows that Mickey-shaped food has no calories, honest. But this is the time of year when many of us start wishing we were looked a bit more Baywatch and a bit less Baymax, and try to eat a little more healthily. Our intrepid wafflers have looked at the food offerings right across WDW and have come up with some ideas on healthier options. Of course, one idea is to save calories for that special date night, and the team have been researching some alternatives for a Valentine celebration that won't break the bank. Plus, we have your Mickey mention still to come. But first, it's time for a spin on the Carousel of Questions. And this time, it's Lloyd.
Favourite park?
MGM Studios.
Ride that you hate?
Primeval Twirl Whirl thing.
Most overrated snack?
Dole Whip.
Favourite transportation mode in Walt Disney World?
People Mover.
Favourite table service restaurant?
Cali Grill.
Resort you haven't stayed at but want to more than anything else on Earth?
Bay Lake Tower.
Favourite car park?
The one that holds the Alamo Garage at Orlando International.
Typhoon, Blizzard or Volcano Bay?
Typhoon.
Galaxy's Edge or Diagon Alley?
Galaxy's Edge.
Early morning or late night park visit?
Late night.
Keep the magic or backstage detail?
Keep the magic, but I'll do behind the scenes.
Favourite other podcast or vlogger about Disney?
Good old Tim Tracker.
On-site or off-site?
On site.
Okay, guys, back to the hard work. Let's see if you can do 10 reps. No, I said reps, not crepes. Which reminds me, we have a few news items to bring you up to date. So, guys, what's new?
Thanks, Peter. I'm going to keep these short and sweet. There's going to be a new feature included this month into the updates. Straight from Magic Kingdom is the news that Halloween starts on August the 13th this year. Just worth knowing if you're having a summer trip planned, as August park hours were released a couple of weeks ago. For anyone travelling there this month, do keep your eyes peeled for some merchandise on sale that celebrate the 45th anniversary of Space Mountain and Carousel of Progress. From Animal Kingdom, just one thing to report, and that was some concept art for Avatar 2, which clearly shows lands that we're already familiar with from Flight of Passage, although the release date for the film is now December 2021. In the studios, where you possibly still need to take your hotel bed in order to gain access to one of the boarding groups for Rise of the Resistance, R2-D2 droid is testing currently, and in the launch bay, which should be another exciting addition to all things Star Wars. Over in Toy Story Land, work continues at a pace at the Roundup Rodeo Barbecue, which will open in the summer. If you're going in the next few months, keep an eye on the progress being made. It's actually on the right-hand side, just as you enter Toy Story Land. Next, grab your hard hat, high-vis jacket, and join me in Epcot, where amid all the building work, we again have the positive news of the new openings we told you about last month, together with the signage appearing for the Ratatouille ride. Keep your eyes peeled for Gusto in the area in the run-up to the area being opened in the summer. Also, keep your ears open, as there are many changes underway to the background music loops throughout the park, but already being heard on World Showcase. These are linking with Disney movies, especially Coco and Mulan, and also in the French Pavilion, where Beauty and the Beast features. Also there will be the opening of a crêperie, opening by the same company that owns Chef de France and Monsieur Paul. This looks a really great addition if you ever need a quick crepe when exploring World Showcase. Also in Epcot, we have reached the midpoint of the test track refurb, which will hopefully reopen at the end of February. Now, I did say I was going to keep the updates short this month, as I'm going to conclude with 2 items that have really narked us in the past few weeks. So instead of an update, this is Sort It Out, Disney. Item 1 is the news that the resorts served by the Skyliner having their bus services to Epcot and Hollywood Studios reduced to just 1 bus an hour, which seems illogical when you think of the needs of actually real people, especially those with a fear of heights. Yeah, sort that out, Disney. And then item 2, on a totally different theme, is the inability to get through to book anything for Disneyland Paris. I know it's become something of a joke between some of us wafflers, but to have to wait over 45 minutes to have someone take your money off you to book something is most un-Disney-like. They really do need to sort this out. Over to you guys.
I think I've spent about 3 hours of the past 4 days just trying to buy an annual pass.
Have you been? You haven't been ringing the 08448 number, have you?
No, I haven't. No.
At 7 pence a minute.
7 pence a minute, and being held up for that length of time, Claire.
Yeah.
What? My word.
Oh, it's dreadful.
Yeah, I'm not going to go there.
What I can't understand is how difficult it is to try and get through. And it's not just a group of people. This is, obviously it's coming from online as well. And I know that there's a known problem within the Disney booking system. But Disney not want to take your money off you. That's a new one on me, I must admit.
I think they've got lots of promotions going on at the minute. And maybe it's just showing the issues that people can't get through. People are actually realising it's a good price to pay and booking up. So everyone's phoning or trying to use online, but it's not working as quickly or as efficiently as they wanted it to. Because I've been hearing that people have been, if you've been signed in and just done a booking online just to see what the price is, they've been receiving invoices by email even if they haven't booked.
Oh no.
Yeah, so imagine that. You've just been looking at, I don't know, the Disneyland Hotel, looked for 4 or 5 nights, and it's coming about £2,000, and you think, oh no, I'll look elsewhere. And then within 24 hours, you've got an email saying that, thank you for booking, here's your invoice for £2,000.
They've got card details, though.
No, but
can't get charged then.
Yeah, they just
So
have,
I can show up.
They have to phone up, ironically enough, and get it cancelled or check that it isn't actually booked properly.
Yeah.
So you mean to say that sneaky sort of 3-4 days I was looking at over Easter is going to come back and bite me, and I never even got through on the phone?
It could happen.
No.
I don't think it's been going through. I just think it's just something wrong with Disney's IT.
There's nothing new there then, is there?
Yeah, that never happens.
Maybe they're using the Wi-Fi they have at Disneyland Paris.
Yeah.
Or not.
Maybe
or not, as the case may be.
Indeed.
Well, hey, I think we'll add that one, Claire, for I think when is it Ben and Becca? You're going to DLP next, aren't you?
Yeah. A few weeks time.
You can update us on the sorted out Disney on the Wi-Fi front in Paris as well, then.
As long as we get our annual pass by then, it'll all be good.
Yeah. Inflation otherwise.
Yeah.
I wonder if Lloyd's still on the phone to them tonight.
Could be.
4 days later.
I hope he's not paying 7p a minute.
So do I.
That's what I don't get is why there's not a number for Disneyland Paris that is an 0800 one when you can phone Disney Holidays and there is one.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do use it's different branches of the same company. So
yeah,
Disney Holidays, so the Walt Disney Travel Company, have an 0800 number, but obviously they have slightly different pricing structure to the Disneyland Paris.co.uk.
Do they always offer the same offers or?
No, they don't, and they don't operate from the same location. But it's all Disney. They're just different arms of the company.
That's really interesting, that, Claire, because I don't know if I've not really ranted on here about it, but certainly on part of a trip report, we had a hideous check-in at Port Orleans, but the American cast member who tried to check us in basically said that the Walt Disney World Travel Company UK was more or less a travel agent, they weren't affiliated to Walt Disney World in any way, shape, or form, which was an absolute lie. And we only found that out probably, I think it was nearly 2 weeks later into the holiday when I got a very good phone call back from somebody in customer services who had basically sort of tried to email while we were on holiday. But I've never ever got to the bottom of it. And to see how fragmented the whole company becomes when you're actually trying to give them money rather than going to another travel agent and actually giving the travel agent the commission and such like. I think it's quite scary, really.
Yeah, and I'm certain that with the challenges that Disneyland Paris are facing with their online booking system and their phone lines, and I believe that they've migrated their call centre somewhere else recently, which has not helped. I think probably some other companies like Magic Breaks and people like that are probably coining it in, to be honest with you, because people will go elsewhere, which is a shame because, prices will possibly be a little bit higher. They may not, but someone has to make money out of it somewhere.
Yeah. I think it's sad as well because I think there's always the inclination that if you are booking with the official site, there's that little bit extra sort of protection, that little bit extra sort of knowledge that it won't go wrong at the end of the day. And no, I'm sad to hear that in a way.
Yeah, and I think there's things that have to happen through the, directly with Disneyland Paris, like, Ben Becker trying to buy an annual pass. You can't do that through anybody else. So,
Yeah.
You just have to kind of wait, I guess.
Not good. Sammy, you were going to tell me something about the Skyliner, weren't you?
Man, don't even get me started. Disney trying to force you to ride the Skyliner. They've spent all this money on the Skyliner that no one asked for, and they're trying to force you to ride it. It's like, what? I don't want to ride it. I want to go on the bus. But as you said, John, they're bringing the buses down to 1 an hour to Skyliner parks, which is Epcot and Hollywood Studios, right?
Yep.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So for hotels that have a Skyliner, and I just noticed it because I've seen it about Pop, because I'm seeing it Pop in May, that they're bringing those down to 1 bus an hour. How ridiculous is that?
Which resorts is that? That's Pop.
So it must be Pop, Art of Animation,
Caribbean.
Caribbean Beach, Riviera,
and any of the Epcot resorts.
Animation Pop Century.
Boardwalk, Yacht Beach Club.
The bus service from there wasn't great anyway because it's so easy to walk or they've got the water taxi anyway.
Yeah.
That's
So
true.
you just basically jump the friendship boat and you're up and down the waterway,
Okay.
or you can walk, from those resorts. I personally, I'm either way because actually I quite like the idea of getting the Skyliner. I think it's a really, a really brilliant thing to go and enjoy, but there's a lack of thought for certain people here, and I find that whole part of it to just sort of do away with the bus service and not actually think about people who've, people have got a fear of heights, and for a company that have gone, and I know we will talk about this later, for a company gone to such great depths about how you cater for very different needs as regarding food, they're not thinking about things that are so obvious.
They're also not taking into account people with disabilities or illnesses that can't ride the Skyliner. And also, the Skyliner is something that is new and recently crashed. People were stuck in the air for 3 hours and it recently crashed. So it's like, oh, we're trying to force you to take the Skyliner that, again, no one asked for. It's cool, you want to build that's fine, Disney, you do you. You've got billions and billions of pounds to do this, but don't force people to use it if they don't want to use it.
To me, Disney's always been about having the option. So I think the thing is, by reducing the amount of buses, it's forcing people to use something they're either going to wait an hour for. But also, what will happen at park close? Well, I know I can't see them just running 1 bus an hour just imagine when Epcot and Hollywood Studios close, and that's going to be a nightmare.
I think that's a really pertinent point, that, Ben, as well. I personally, going back to when the ideas for the Skyliner were first mooted, and know that there was issues from the bus drivers or the bus driving union, if there is one, but the bus drivers were actually promised that the Skyliner was not going to impact upon their working life. And I feel sorry for those guys, because actually they're really, really good at the job. And suddenly, because you put the Skyliner in an X amount of millions of pounds, let's cut the bus service, so therefore not include more bus drivers. And I don't know, I just think it stinks to me. I think it's just a really horrible thought. And like you said, Sammy, it's people who've got real needs in real life who are being left behind.
I think Disney buses aren't cheap to run, and I think Disney have known that for a while. That's possibly a reason they've looked at Skyliner as a cheaper for them sort of transport, and something that could expand everywhere else. But I'm wondering whether the Skyliner will become normal through all other resorts as well. And it not something we'd have to get used to, but maybe something that Disney are just planning on sort of realigning how their transport works.
The Deb are really 50-50 about it. And I see their points. Like, there's a lot of people talking about, low carbon emissions and stuff like that, and I'm all for that. But the Skyliner is problematic in so many different ways.
I think as well, there's also another argument about the Disney buses, because I think some of them, if not most of them, do they not run off like pre-used vegetable oils and things like that? They're not actually using proper diesel, or I don't know. I'd need to check.
50%. I think it's 50% diesel, 50%.
Yeah, no, thanks.
I'd rather they'd switched and put money into electric buses. Like, I'd rather them have put the money towards electric vehicles than towards the Skyliner, because there's not very, like, the amount of people who can't ride a bus is very, very low to the amount of people who can't ride the Skyliner. Regards to either illnesses or height fears, or just the fact that if the Skyliner breaks down, you're stuck high in the air for hours.
I think the worst part is that they didn't give anybody any notice that they were going to be doing this. Yeah. Normally they're pretty good at saying, okay, from this date we are going to be doing this. They also haven't said whether it's a temporary measure or not. It's possible that they're taking some of the older buses out to bring in some new ones, because they have been bringing in a lot of new buses recently.
Yeah.
And it's also possible that they're reappropriating those buses to other resorts that don't have as great transportation links. Hopefully.
Yeah,
and fingers crossed.
Like, especially announced it was all, hush, like signs at hotels. It wasn't like an official tweet or an official statement or anything. It's all quite like annoying, really. It's just really frustrating when, like, I've paid for preferred rooms so I could be close to the bus stops because I have really bad feet. You guys obviously know I have really bad feet, and it's really hard for me to walk very far. And like, I just paid extra for nothing for one bus an hour now. Like, what?
I wouldn't be at all surprised if this decision gets quietly reversed, or at least they put more buses on at certain times, because I really don't think this is going to go down well at all. Certainly, they've got to think about what happens when there's a storm, which, let's face it, happens a lot in Florida. They're going to be putting more buses on then. Party nights, end of the night, that kind of thing. Surely they're going to have more buses on then. So I wouldn't be at all surprised if more buses just didn't suddenly, unexpectedly turn up.
I think if there's an explanation from Disney of what their plan is, I know they don't like disclosing lots of information, but maybe if they say the reason we're doing this is because we want to reduce carbon emissions, and they talk about their plan and process of it, I'm wondering whether this is an original plan that was put in place before the accident happened a few months ago, and it's just something they've stuck to and not adapted.
Yeah, possibly.
I wonder, the cynical part of me says this is going to throw a lot of people onto minivans and things like that, but also onto Uber and other taxis, which means that Disney will lose out there. I think lots of people will just take a taxi or a minivan, and it'll cost them more.
Or maybe people might use a Skyliner.
Or they'll hire
cars. Actually achieve what they want. Well, I partly think that Disney wants to reduce the amount of traffic and pollution that's on property. And the quickest and probably easiest way for them to do that is to build Skyliner to every resort and every park.
Or it's just going to have more people hiring cars and therefore having to pay the resort fees and parking fees.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to think that for anybody who has got issues, and anyone who's listening to this who has got issues, rather than being fearful of going on your holidays at any point in the next 12 months, thinking that this is going to apply to you, is actually highlight it with your resort. And you can phone your resort, phone the Walt Disney Travel Company, but try and highlight it to them and show what an issue. I know you have, Sammy. It's because I think certainly for yourself, Sammy, I would like to think that Disney would put on a minivan for you as a matter of courtesy. Just at the very least, it's
a personal minivan.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be amazing, but like I just want to be able to take the bus like I usually do without having to worry about being stuck in the sky or the heat or anything like that. Like I just want to be able to. That's why I stay on site. Two things I stay on site for: the easiness of the free transport and the 60-day fast passes. That's the things I stay on site, and it feels like one of them's kind of been not taken away. That's a bit dramatic, but you know what I mean. And I do urge anyone who isn't happy about it and who doesn't. There's going to be a lot of people who probably don't even know about it. I urge you to get in touch with Disney, either email them, phone them, because we need to let them know that we're not really happy about it.
I think it's an extreme change because normally buses run every 20 minutes, so they're losing 2 an hour. Where if they just lost 1 an hour and down to 2, I don't think it would have had as much of an impact.
Like I've stayed on POP quite a few times, and I can tell you I've never waited any more than 15 minutes for a bus. It's usually like 5-10 minutes. They come really, really regularly. Maybe the party line is of every 20 minutes, but it's definitely not that. It's definitely more than that. But yeah, I just think it's just a bit of a pain for me, but can't really do anything about it.
I don't think it's just a pain for you, Sammy. I think it's a pain for an awful lot of people, and certainly for anyone listening to our show. I think we'll update them with any changes. I know, Ben, you and I had a conversation about a week ago, and basically wondered whether or not, because of the timing of this, which was the first week in January, and they're still doing it now, but whether or not this is perhaps some time where they're trying to get the analysis of data as regarding pushing people onto Skyliner and what else is needed. And is it just a data gathering sort of period of 3-4 months or whatever? So I'd like to think we could maybe update our listeners, because I think it's a hugely important part of everyone's holiday, irrespective of where you're staying. But certainly, like I said, I think it's something Disney desperately need to sort out.
Well done, folks. We've finished our workout, we've had our showers, and now it's time to relax in the cafe with a protein shake. Now, I know that you've all looked at the various parts of WDW and some of the healthy options available. Okay, over to you guys. Let's start with Sammy.
I got to looking at my favourite park, Animal Kingdom's dining options. Now, some people who listen to this regularly will know I'm not the most adventurous of eaters. Give me my chicken nuggets and my fries any day.
Surely not, Sammy. Surely not chicken nuggets.
And me, you would never guess that I love the Disney Parks chicken nuggets and fries. If you're looking for something a little bit better, a little bit more adventurous, a little healthier, there's a couple of options at Animal Kingdom that might suit your fancy. So the first one I looked at was one of the newest options in Pandora, the world of Avatar, called Satuli Canteen. This place is a counter service, and prices range from between about $10 and $20, so it's pretty reasonable for your kind of everyday snack food meal. in a Disney park. So you get to pick a protein, a base, and a sauce. The proteins are chili garlic shrimp, chili spice crispy fried tofu, chopped wood-grilled chicken, which is marinated in a garlic and olive oil, or a slow-roasted sliced grilled beef, which is marinated in garlic, herbs, red pepper spice, and red wine vinegar. So you pick your protein and then you pick your base. There are also 4 bases to pick from, which are red and sweet potato hash, rice and black beans, a hearty salad, or noodles. And then if you want to, you can add a sauce. There are 3 options. They are charred green onion vinaigrette, black bean vinaigrette, or a creamy herb dressing. So I haven't personally been to Satuli Canteen, but there are things here that I could probably eat. I like noodles, I like chicken, and I could probably have the creamy herb dressing. And this seems like a really good mix of things. You can definitely have different combinations, and it's all pretty healthy stuff. Have any of you guys eaten in Silly Canteen before?
Yeah, the noodle, chicken, herby, creamy dressing combination is lovely.
Yeah, is that what you had?
That's what I had. I had chicken and beef, but...
All right, okay. Yeah, because you can get a combination as well. Did it feel like you were in a theme park, having theme park food, or did it just feel like yummy?
It just felt like yummy food, not theme park food, which was quite nice.
As healthy as thing you can get.
It's so different though, isn't it?
Mm.
It's different. I think the other thing, Sammy, and I think this is one of the things we found. I've been since Flight of Passage opened, and you walk past it, and you look at the menu, and it's actually quite a scary menu. It's very difficult to actually understand what it is you get, and particularly going as a family, you're trying to think about what the kid's going to eat, and you sort of see how it doesn't read right from the outside. So last year we actually went in to the actual, we basically went through and stopped short of actually ordering at the counter, and for the first time we actually made sense of what was actually available there. That made the biggest difference for us, I must admit.
The best thing is it's served on actual plates.
Yeah.
It's not paper for a quick service.
And you can do it by a mobile order, which makes it a lot simpler as well.
The food's absolutely beautiful in there, and like you say, it's not theme park food. It's something different.
If you want to ruin the sort of the healthy option, they do a nice blueberry mousse.
Yeah, and there's also like a separate kids meal as well, which has some of the same things and a couple of like little different things. I think they do like a hot dog as well for kids and stuff, and maybe a macaroni cheese. But it is really simple. It's basically you pick a protein, you pick a base, and you pick a sauce.
Yeah.
That's it. And they kind of vary in price. I think the beef's the most expensive at about $17 or $16, and it goes down that way. So it's very reasonable and it's very healthy and different from your normal theme park food.
Yeah, good.
So the next one from Animal Kingdom is Yak and Yeti, which is in Asia, the Asian section of the park. And that's kind of a table service, Asian-inspired menu, and it ranges from about $20 to $30, so a little bit more expensive than Satuli Canteen, but if you fancy something a bit different, they do lo mein, they do really amazing sounding salads and like lettuce cups and stuff. There's a lot of things there that seem pretty healthy with like an Asian twist. A lot of lettuce. So lettuce is healthy, right, guys?
Yep.
I mean, I wouldn't know. I think a couple of you guys have also ate Yak and Yeti, and Claire, you have, haven't you?
Yeah, I've eaten at the Yak and Yeti, both the table service restaurant and also the quick service.
That's the window that's next door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the food's really good, actually. I think it's really good quality, and I think it's good value. The restaurant, sit-down restaurant, is not cheap, but the food's amazing. So
I think on the dining plan, it's a good option.
I agree.
But I have to admit, we didn't go for the healthy one. I think the last time we ate there was everybody had a chicken tikka masala because we just wanted something spicy.
Well, it's the option for the people in your family or your party who want a bit more hearty, fatty. But there is a lot of healthier options on the menu, so it's got a good mix, I would say. Third on the list is the highest costing meal, but possibly with the highest reward, and that is Tusker House, which is a buffet. It does breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but it's also a character meet. So while you're eating, you get Safari Mickey, you get Safari Daisy, Donald, and Goofy. And I think Minnie sometimes makes an appearance, but I think it's mainly just the four of those guys. And yeah, it's in the African section of the park, and it is inspired with lots of African dishes. There's a carvery, there's curries, there's lots of dips and African inspired things. I wouldn't try any of it really. I'm not very interested. I have been to Tusker House. I've been to the breakfast buffet, which was fab. I highly recommend it. I'm doing it again when I go to Florida in May. And the one thing I mentioned that I don't think it might be a little bit healthy, is the jungle juice that you get at Tusker House, which is a passion orange and guava drink, and it is so good. It is like I would pay the money just to go there and drink that juice. But for breakfast, they have the normal breakfast fare, your bacon, your pastries and stuff, but they also have a lot of African inspired breakfast stuff as well. Have you guys ate at Tusker?
Yeah. Tusker House is it's our usual first morning breakfast. Actually, we tend to go to Animal Kingdom first, and I think it's probably the best character breakfast on site on any park anywhere in Walt Disney World. I think the food selection's amazing. They have carvery ham at breakfast and beef bobbity and amazing. My favourite thing of all of the whole buffet is the plantains. They're great, and I think it's a really good venue if you get an 8 o'clock reservation. It's amazing.
Yeah, you can get in early, and I've got a 8:15 reservation for when I go in May.
We tend to try and get 8:05, 8:15, eat breakfast, see the characters, nip out the side door by the carvery ham, top tip for people, and you can be on the first safari of the day at 9 o'clock.
The prices, so for breakfast just now, it does change sometimes, but just now it's $24 for the breakfast for kids and $41 for breakfast for adults, and then for dinner it's $32 for kids and $54 for adults. So it is a little bit pricier, but it is a buffet and you get to meet the characters.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you, Sammy. That was really in depth. That was really good. Now we're going to hop over to Magic Kingdom and Jill.
Okay. Well, let's start the day with breakfast at Be Our Guest. You can have scrambled egg whites, chicken sausage, roasted tomatoes and fresh fruit. And there's also a plant-based version available. You could go to Liberty Square Market. They sell fresh fruit and veg that you can snack on throughout the day. Liberty Tree Tavern has a colony salad on its lunch menu, which consists of grilled chicken, Washington apples, sweet pecans, applewood smoked cheddar, and dried cranberries, tossed with field greens in honey shallot vinaigrette. Or at Skipper's Canteen, you can have several options at lunch or dinner, including the Hardy Har Char Sui pork. Glad I got through that. It's marinated grilled pork with steamed broccoli and jasmine rice. Oh yes, they love their broccoli in the parks. Or maybe you could have the Lottet steak salad, which is grilled steak, romaine lettuce, red peppers, tomatoes, cucumbers, parsley, coriander, mint vinaigrette, and garlic chips. And I presume that means chips of garlic rather than what we think of as chips with a load of garlic on, which would kind of ruin the healthy vibe, I think. If you would rather have counter service, head to Columbia Harbour House. You can have a tuna sandwich, or maybe you can have a lighthouse sandwich. Contains no actual lighthouse, but it contains hummus with tomato and broccoli slaw. There's that broccoli again. And just to finish on a high, there is one iconic Magic Kingdom treat which is dairy-free, sugar-free, and packed with fruit. Yes, it's our old friend, the Dole Whip. It is just 93 calories, folks. You'll have burned that off in the queue to get one. However, if you have yours as a Dole Whip float, do bear in mind that the pineapple juice has another 150 calories and a load of sugar too. So you better prepare yourself for another hike round the park to burn that one off. So any thoughts on eating healthily at Magic Kingdom?
I didn't realise a Dole Whip was sort of so low in calories.
No, like low sugar, low everything. I didn't know that at all.
I think I might have Dole Whip for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
I think we need to
That
change
sounds like a diet plan.
Dole Whip light.
Definitely gonna get.
You could have
diet.
three meals. Yeah, 3 meals for under 300 calories a day.
Yeah. That's my 5-2 diet sorted.
Yeah. Who says you can't diet when you're on holiday?
Exactly.
And I have to say, I'm very, very, very gutted about the garlic chips. They sounded amazing, and I thought they were actually garlic chips.
Wait a minute. Are they not crisps? If they're chips?
Yeah, chips are crisps. So.
Yeah.
Garlic crisps.
Oh, no, that sounds
Well,
intriguing.
that sounds better.
Sounds like the twisted tater type thing.
Mm.
Go and investigate, Sammy.
Yeah.
Am I the next one out there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can offer me services. I'll go out for research purposes if need be.
Was it a golfing trip?
No, it doesn't matter. I've got to just try the garlic chips. That's fine. I don't mind. Honest.
For a short while, one of the crisp manufacturers in this country did a garlic flavour crisp.
Probably
It lasted a year.
I'm
And
surprised it lasted that long.
Yeah.
Oh, but I remember when I was a kid, you had
Hedgehog
flavor
crisp, yes.
Yeah.
No.
It's shaped, I'm assuming.
No.
It's just made out.
See,
No, not made out of hedgehogs,
They're
but
not made out of hedgehog. No, they were just called
That's where
hedgehog.
my mind went to.
Hedgehog.
roasted hedgehog.
Okay, thanks, Jill. Let's move on. And let's go to Epcot with John.
Yeah, thanks, Peter. I've got to say, Epcot is such a strange place to try to find something healthy to eat. When you think about all of the different food places, you think about from Electric Umbrella, you look towards a Coral Reef restaurant, which, to be honest, has got a big cross beside it on my list here. And even looking at Sunshine Seasons, most places start off really nicely with, an energy salad with a chicken option, and then they pour a honey vinaigrette over the top of it. So it's really difficult to actually find something that you consider to be healthy. When you look at the other menus certainly for the cart within Epcot, there appears to be like a fruit option, etc. You can go and pick something up quite healthy there. But for the restaurants themselves, I found this a real challenge to actually find something that was something I could come back and talk to you guys about, but certainly something I would actually go and try and eat myself because, it was scary. So from a whole wealth of different places, I've actually found there's a salmon and sea bass in Tutto Italia, which, if you ask for no butter on the top, is possibly one of the best ones if you're looking for healthy eating and looking to be on a diet. Spice Road, again, looking at fish, they've got yellowfin tuna with an eggplant, zucchini, and a capers salad, which again sounds really good. And I would also go back to somewhere where I feel it's one of the best places to eat, and that's when you end up going to the Japan pavilion. There's obviously the sushi available, which I don't do sushi, but also when you go to Tepanido is, again, you get the choice of what you want when you want to eat it. And looking again, like I said, I found this really difficult to do. I then looked at what was upcoming in the Regal Eagle Smokehouse. And again, there's more power green salad with fresh greens, citrus fruits. Also to mention the plant-based products. And then a barbecue jackfruit burger. It's difficult. And I must say, I'm not sure if I've ever been to Walt Disney World and thought about eating healthily, because the amount of walking you ever do is always a good thing. But what I would say is to anybody actually listening to this who's got a personal dietary requirement, speak to anybody in a restaurant, or be it a counter service, be it a table service, anywhere at all. If you've got a need, they will do their absolute most to actually cater for you. And I think that's the one thing that, I've been on holiday with people who have had real dietary needs, and Disney really do go that extra mile to cater for them. Obviously, if you engage with your first server when you first turn up somewhere, they will actually, I've seen the chef come out to people before, and that's made a real difference. And irrespective of whether that's healthy eating or sensible eating, but for a lot of people, and a lot of people who have got specific food needs, I would say that's one thing that Disney have really done very, very well. And, I met somebody on holiday a couple of years ago, and we shared a meal. They had specific dietary requirements, and they shared, not just with me, but they shared on the dip with actually how they actually were able to deal with celiacs, and actually made their holiday that much more pleasurable. And going back to what Sammy said about Animal Kingdom, they ate in the Nomad Lounge in Animal Kingdom and had the most magnificent meal. Yeah, speak to your server. If you want anything, it's your holiday. And I think irrespective of where you're at, if you've got a need, then Disney will do their utmost to cater for it.
I'm allergic to bananas. I can cook with them, which is great as I'm a chef, but I can't eat them. And they make me really ill. So I had to wait while the chef came out and went either through the menu with me or took me round the buffet saying, that's got banana in it, that's got banana in it. And that's what they do for all the people who have an allergy or a special diet or something. They are really, really very good. Okay. Anything else on that one, John? Or are you happy to move on?
I'm very happy to move on because I found it really difficult. Unless you want to talk about the fish and chips at the Frozen Crown and things like that. There's loads of places at Epcot that are beautiful to eat, but they're not very healthy. And I would give Disney the due. I think they've got much better, certainly over the past five or 6 years of catering for a much more healthy option. And I think that's where we're starting to see an awful lot of these power salads coming in. And if that's what you're wanting, it's great. But I still think they've got a bit of work to do in Epcot.
Do you think a lot of the healthier food for Epcot is actually in the food booths, so during the festivals, more than the actual sort of
very possibly, Ben? And I think that's just, that's one of those things. I've been in the summer. You don't get that range of options. And again, Food and Wine is a really good opportunity to show what chefs are actually able to offer for people who are looking for certain healthy options.
Can I just add a caveat to all this that nobody seems to have mentioned, and one or two people have mentioned plant-based food. As the resident chef,
the expert, Peter, you are the expert.
As a resident chef, plant-based food is not necessarily healthy.
Yeah.
So just don't assume that because you're getting a plant-based burger that it's a healthy burger. It isn't necessarily healthier than a beef burger. It's just an alternative to a beef burger.
Also, it's one of those things that if people are looking for something that isn't a burger but feels like they want to have something that is plant-based, wants to instead avoid meat, then they've got an option. I think it's quite nice that Disney are doing a lot of plant-based food.
Yeah.
It is an alternative. It's not necessarily healthier. Okay, right. On to Lloyd for Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, so I've had a look at Disney's Hollywood Studios, and the theme so far that we've all established is it's very, very hard to be healthy, to eat healthy in Disney on a Disney holiday. You can kind of make some good choices, but unless you know what it's being cooked in, what's in the sauce on top of it, it's really hard to stay on top of staying healthy. So I'm just taking it back to basics in Hollywood Studios. My first choice is very basic. I'm going to go to Anaheim Produce, look at the fresh fruit selection on there. Now, it used to be pretty extensive years back. I haven't been in the very, very recent history, so people might be able to correct me on this, but you can still get your bananas on there, apples, apple slices and things. So as a little snack, rather than going for a pretzel full of carbs or going for something sugary full of sugar, get some fruit. And you've got a bit of sugar in the fruit, but you've got the fibre to go with it, and it's good for you. So yeah, that's my first one. Anaheim Produce. Stop by there. Just get something really simple. Or you can head over to Black Spire's Outpost, Cat Sacker's Kettle, and just get some popcorn. Nice simple snack. Yeah, you've got some flavourings on there, but it's not dripping in toffee or anything like that, so it's still relatively okay for you. And whenever you get popcorn, people always get bored before you get to the bottom of it anyway, so you're not going to eat the whole thing. You could also get it in your limited edition souvenir tubs as well, so it's a nice little purchase, even if you don't want it particularly for the popcorn. But yeah, there's loads to go around. It's not going to break the bank, and it's not too many calories in the popcorn either. And then my sort of third choice is something a little bit more substantial, and we're going to go over to Docking Bay 7, still in Galaxy's Edge. We're going to go to Tug's Grub, and we're going to get a Yob shrimp noodle salad. So you've got your chilled shrimp in there, you've got marinated noodles, and you've got a load of veg tossed into it as well. Now the noodles, again, they're not specifically healthy really. American wheat's worse for you than European wheat is, so anytime or any sort of flour over there, it's going to be a little bit worse for the noodles over here. But still, I think it's, on the whole, that's not a bad dish really if you want something a bit more substantial. I think the main thing in Hollywood Studios and in Disney is to just really either substitute things or omit things to stay healthy. So instead of grabbing that full fat Coke, grab a water. Don't get Dasani because it's just as expensive. Try and get your free iced water. If you're going to go for a Coke, go for a Diet Coke. Okay, you've got like the various things like aspartame and stuff, but you haven't got your sugar in there, so that's a good start. Don't eat all your fries. If you're getting full up on your meal, make sure you eat your meat and leave the fries and the buns and everything to one side. Where you can, substitute sweet potato for normal potato. Substitute carrot sticks for fries. And here's a good one. So you can still have your burger. Don't get your burger bun. And if you're in a sit-down restaurant especially, they should be able to do this for you. Ask for either lettuce leaves instead of your burger bun. If they've got eggplant on the menu, they could slice the eggplant to the size of a burger bun and grill that for you. Or portobello mushrooms either side of your burger. And then all your bread is gone, but you've still got the joys of your burger there. Or if you just want to cheat, what I do in Disney, I tend to do a little bit of fasting. So I'll just skip breakfast, skip a little bit of lunch or have a late lunch. And it means when I do eat, I can eat whatever I want, really. So I can still enjoy my meals to their utmost, but I don't really have to watch what I'm eating too much. That's it with Hollywood Studios. My little tips there.
I think you missed a
bit of
huge
aubergine and mushroom.
Have you not seen that? It's a big thing at the moment. So you're at eggplants like that, isn't it? So you slice it and it's the same. You get about that sort of thickness.
Yeah.
Portobello mushroom or lettuce.
Yeah, I've seen it with a lettuce.
Mushroom and lettuce I can deal with, but not aubergine.
Noodle dish, what was it called?
Yob shrimp.
Yob shrimp noodle salad. It's the Star Wars take on shrimp. They've just called it yob shrimp.
Yob.
Yeah, the yob sounded a bit weird. That was all.
Hooligan shrimp.
Yeah.
Shav shrimp. Shav shrimp noodle salad. Yeah, comes a little hoodie.
Tag round its ankle, yeah.
You did miss the opportunity, Lloyd. You could have actually have upgraded your drink option to that hard cider, the blood orange hard cider that's in the place that used to be the writer's stop as well. That's always quite a nice one.
Yeah.
Sounds nice.
There's not much option for healthy stuff at Hollywood Studios.
There's not much option at Hollywood Studios.
No. I think Anaheim Produce has really whittled down what it does there as well, because it wants to push the other things like the Mickey pretzels, and they do like beers and stuff there, your IPAs. But it used to be great. It used to be really, really expansive there, what you could get in terms of just fruit and pickles. I think you used to be able to get pickles as well there.
I think as well, and I think it's worth sharing with a lot of people, is like the ABC commissary. We went as a family of four, and the actual portion size for lunch was so huge that we actually didn't eat 4 portions between us. We left an almighty amount a few years ago. And so as a result, it kind of put us off from going back there. You know, it's just too much to eat, and certainly in the heat of the day. But it was just, it was way beyond what any sort of family would eat. And so the last time we actually went to Pizza Rizzo, which was a little bit different, and it was actually open. which makes a pleasant
That's a change.
Yeah. But Pizza Rizzo was absolutely superb, and I think we ended up with certainly a better lunchtime experience. But they actually cater for particular needs as well. Certainly my wife doesn't eat cheese because of allergies, etc. And they actually went and they made her a pizza without cheese, and it arrived at the same time as ours. But again, they went to that degree of actually looking after you, and it all came with salad.
Yes, because I've heard not good things about Pizza Rizzo.
No, I don't think I've not read an awful lot. We've just never been.
No.
We've only tried Pizza Planet when it was there, not Pizza Rizzo.
Yeah.
I have to admit, it wasn't.
The bit I did like about it, they did a nice Moretti, which was it's a nice beer.
Nice and cold.
Yeah.
Thinking about the table service restaurants in Hollywood studios, they're not what you call healthy either, particularly. I mean, you've got a sci-fi diner, which burgers, etc., etc.
Curly fries.
Yeah. You've got 50s prime time, which again is not exactly healthy.
Brown Derby.
Brown Derby, you've got some healthy options there. You pay through the nose for them.
Yeah.
But, you do have some. But then if you have the grapefruit cake like I did, all that good work's been undone. Because, yes, it's got grapefruits in it. It's got fruit in it, but it's also got 10 ton of sugar and fat in it. But it's a cake. It's a cake. What you going to do?
I'm a super taster, apparently, which means that basically I don't like bitter things. And everybody goes, oh, it's quite sweet, Ugh, it's horrible. I don't like that cake at all. No.
I think what you've managed to do, Lloyd, is actually find the minuscule amount of places within the studios where you can actually find something and can actually look for that sort of healthy option, possibly without going to Starbucks. Starbucks actually, I can give or take Starbucks, but there are some options in there that you can actually generally find the fruit in there as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't go. I wouldn't recommend it at Starbucks at all.
I was going to say you lose the will to live or a few years of your life if you go into that Starbucks.
They keep getting our order wrong as well.
Twice. Horrendous.
Every time we go in, we spend like half an hour, not just in the queue, but just trying to work out how we've said what we've ordered and end up with something completely different.
Yeah. Or which side of the queue will move fastest?
Neither.
Literally go left.
I think my issue, particularly with that Starbucks, is the fact that they've shut Star and Rolls. And Star and Rolls, which was opposite the side entrance to it, was the most fantastic place to go and get either cinnamon buns or something even for a lunchtime
big sandwich
as
well.
Yeah.
But no, I can't bear that Starbucks.
The quick service meals, not just at Hollywood Studios, but at all of the parks, we tend to share them because they're so large.
Yeah, that's a good call, that, Becca. I think it was one of the things. If you've got the dining plan, it's one where you can use the portion size to really sort of. It comes across as being quite cheap in a way, but actually, it's using the dining plan, so it actually can eke out another few snacks or a few more meals at different points during your stay.
And it's cheaper if you're paying out of pocket as well.
Absolutely, and that's
Disney pricing.
I've spoken to a lot of people recently about this, and I think the whole paying out of pocket and looking for value within Disney is becoming very, very scarce on the ground. So if you do find opportunities like this, then take them.
And all the sides that come with the meal, you can actually opt to have them taken off, and it will reduce the price as well.
Right. I think it also reduces food waste as well, which is it's always a good thing.
Yeah.
There must be so much food. And I know only, one or two people trying to economise on what they're eating, but you think if everyone did that, actually.
But if you're on the DDP again, you're going to get everything whether or not. Mm-hmm. Because it comes with the meal. That's what you get on the DDP.
Mm.
Yeah.
I think also with Hollywood Studios, I think a lot of the food, I know there's not much choice in the park, but when you think what resorts are close to it, it's a 10-15 minute walk from Boardwalk. You've got Yacht Club, Beach Club, and you're not far from Epcot. So there's quite a lot of choice. I'm just wondering whether Disney don't want to put too much more food options in the park when they don't need to.
There is this new one coming at Toy Story Land, isn't there?
Yeah, the barbecue one.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see that one. Can't imagine it being too healthy if it's barbecue food, but there might be a couple of options.
I think we mentioned that in the sort of the first bit of the show, didn't we?
Yeah.
Just as an intro when it's opening in the summer.
Yeah.
You know, I'm with you there, Ben. I think I can see what you're saying about Disney not wanting that, but when you look at the quality of food opportunities in Epcot, you begin to wonder. The studios, it's never sat right, and I don't know whether that goes back to when the studios opened and there was an awful lot was McDonald's based and was very much down the lines of trying to just provide that quick, in a way, sort of burger option, and they've never really recovered from it.
I think they need a themed healthy restaurant in the studios, one that will attract people but still sell something relatively healthy.
Is there any healthy option? I was going to say, is there any healthy options like the new restaurant in Toy Story Land?
Nah, probably it's all barbecue, isn't it? So
Yeah.
I think you missed that, Claire. I think Becca, you'd made mention of that. I know it, Peter. I think you're onto something there. And I think if on all the parks they actually had one place where there was something that catered for people who were looking for that really healthy option, I think it would be, again, it would be something that's offering something different. And certainly, I certainly think a lot of listeners would go for it.
It's definitely not beyond Disney to do it as well. When you think
I don't think Disney know what's healthy though, Ben.
No, they just think it's profitable.
They're putting out all this plant-based stuff, and I think Pete talked about this last time.
Yeah,
they're putting it all out as the big healthy choice at the moment, but plant-based burger alternative fried up in a load of vegetable oil is probably more unhealthy than a burger. Yeah. But I've looked on a few websites at the moment, and Disney are saying or trying to push this plant-based stuff as the healthy option, not just the meat-free option. So,
but I think that's the same everywhere when you go out for a meal, particularly in Florida. You go to Cheesecake Factory and you go, I'll have a salad. And actually, unless you choose from the Skinnylicious menu at Cheesecake Factory, the salads are 2,000 calories. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's
you need all your dressing on the side,
option isn't.
I don't think it's just a Florida thing though. I think you get that over here as well. Once you've added the dressings to salads, that pushes calories up anyway.
I think that's the thing with it, isn't it? It's just everyone has a particular diet or sort of something they're looking for. Or at the minute, everyone seems to be wanting to go the vegan route or plant-based. And that's where everyone seems all restaurants seem to be heading. They want to cater for that because that's what everyone's talking about.
Okay, and now we are going to hop over to Disney Springs to Claire. Hello, Claire.
So, I had Disney Springs to look at, and I was surprised at how difficult it was as well, actually, John. You mentioned that Epcot was tricky, and whilst there's an awful lot of variety in Disney Springs, not much of it is on the healthier end. But I did find a few things, and I sort of picked out three locations that I would probably head to. So the first, and they're not all table service, which is good. So the first place that I would consider would be the Wine Bar George, but the Baskets, which is the quick service Wine Bar George area, and that's because they do some bites and boxes, and some sandwiches and various things like that. Things like calabrese, brie, honey and crackers for $11. Actually, if you want something that's not huge and it's not heavy and it works well in the sun while you're sitting outside, something like that, you could have a glass of wine to go with it. Be a really nice, different lunch in Disney Springs. The second place that I'd go to in Disney Springs if I was looking for something slightly different to eat is a venue that I've been a couple of times, and the dish that I always choose, which is available at lunch and at dinner, is the Summer Farmhouse salad. Now, salad, everyone thinks sounds a bit boring. This isn't boring by any stretch of the imagination because it's got turkey, grilled peaches, candied pecans. So if you're trying to be healthy, you could sort of pick them out. Blueberries, red onion, feta. It's got a green goddess dressing. It does come with avocado in it. I always ask for the avocado on the side because I can't bear the stuff and I give it to someone else in my family who likes it. So Summer Farmhouse salad for me is a winner at Chef Art Smith. There are loads of places in Disney Springs where you can get something different. I'm going to scoot past Morimoto Asia on my way somewhere else. So honourable mention goes to Morimoto because they have lots of exciting sushi and dim sum on their menu, which is amazing. But a real favourite for lots of people at Disney Springs is Wolfgang Puck Express, and they do have some really great options on their menu. The Chinese chicken salad is amazing and huge. The Greek salad is also fantastic. They do a hummus wrap, which some people think hummus is a bit insipid. It's not, and this is also massive. It's big enough to share. So yeah, I think that because it's a quick service credit on the dining plan, actually Wolfgang Puck Express, it's a bit like Nando's. So you order when you go in, you sit down, they bring the food to you. The menu items, it's really varied. You can get lots of interesting things, and the service is very good. So I would choose Wolfgang Puck Express.
I think Wolfgang Puck Express is quite nice. We've not actually been there, but I know it's a quick service credit.
It is, yeah.
That's good if you're in the dining plan.
It's really good.
It's incredible value.
I've heard good things about their breakfast pizza.
Oh, you see, I haven't been there for breakfast. I have been there lunch and dinner, both on the dining plan and off the dining plan. I think the menu is huge. They do sandwiches, they do salads, they do pizzas, which are freshly baked, they do pasta.
No nuggets though, Sammy, no.
Oh, I didn't even look, Sammy.
Yeah.
Terrible.
It's a brilliant place to go. If you're paying out of pocket, it's really good value. If you're on the dining plan, it actually is something so different and so brilliant, just for the fact that it's just a quick service, and you're in there, you can choose your own table. You're actually weighted with the food at your table, and the food in there is always brilliant.
Yeah. I've never had a bad meal in there.
No, same
they're
here.
quite happy to substitute various things. So I've had the meatloaf. Now I'm a bit weird. I don't like mashed potato, but they substitute fries for that for me, no problem at all. Yeah, really flexible, and I think. But most of the meals are, if there was two of you wanting to share because you didn't want a massive meal, they're certainly big enough to share.
And finally, and people having possibly, I think, the hardest job is Ben and Becca with the resorts.
Yes, much like others, this was quite difficult, although for probably the opposite reason. So many restaurants and so much choice. So what we've done is we've split it between value, moderate and deluxe. So something for everyone. First place we're going to pop to is Pop Century's Everything Pop, along with the usual salads and soups. They've also got a seared salmon served with chimichurri sauce with mashed potatoes and green beans that looked quite nice. Well, I say nice. Healthy and interesting, and fish, so it's not really me, but...
Well, for the moderate, we've gone to Coronado Springs. We've got at the Rick Sports Bar and Grill, and there they have lettuce wraps consisting of sautéed peppers, onions, squash, and zucchini in Asian sesame marinade, served with iceberg lettuce cups, which you can add chicken or shrimp for an extra cost.
Okay.
They also do an island spiced mahi there, which is served with the citrus aioli, pickled red onion, blackened tomato and leaf lettuce on a toasted ciabatta. Mahi is a type of fish as well. I had to look that up. I wasn't 100% sure.
So Karen and I travel around the resorts. We head to Deluxe and we go to Ale and Compass, which is at the Yacht Club. And on their menu, they've got a protein bowl, which is a plant-based Italian sausage, quinoa, sweet potatoes, and broccolini with a roasted tomato sauce. So it's something that if someone wants to try something healthier with protein, and also it's plant-based, so it's okay for people on a vegan diet.
So Ale and Compass, that used to be Captain's Grill, didn't it?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, it
Same
was.
place.
Yeah.
See, I quite like the Captain's Grill. Everyone moaned about it. I thought it was quite good.
We never did it as Captain's Grill, but we've done Ale and Compass a couple of times, one for breakfast and one for lunch. And it's
Would you
a nice
recommend it?
place. I'd recommend giving it a go. The last time we went, we did have very poor service. So the food was nice, I had no problems with that. But apparently the thing that was slowing everything down were the fries. Apparently they took half an hour to cook. So
I think either they dropped them or they forgot to
growing the
put them on.
potatoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you there, Claire, actually. I thought the Captain's Grill was exceptional.
Breakfast was amazing, actually.
Yeah, it was a superb.
Was that first ever meal?
at Disney back in 2010, and it was our first experience of the DDP, and we had a set meal, 3-course meal, which you could do at the time without having to pay a supplement, and we could not believe the value and how good the food was, and we had to ask our server about 3 times, is this really on the DDP? It was so good.
Maybe in the future we should talk about Disney restaurants that are no longer there that we
Yeah,
miss.
that's
Yes.
good.
That would be a good one.
I would also add as well, because I think it's worth people knowing, is that we ate at the Yachtsman's last year, which is 2 table service credit, and to be really honest with you, I don't think the food in there was possibly as good as we'd had previously at the Captain's Grill, which was a shame. There was nothing wrong with it. It was a perfectly good meal, but certainly I felt the Captain's Grill was a superb place to go and eat, and really, really underrated.
Which meant you could always get a table, which was great.
Yeah, exactly. But it wasn't. I'm not being funny, Claire. The food in there was absolutely exceptional. You know, I actually sat and watched. We watched a family one time, and I think that they weren't on the dining plan, but one of the children that can't have been older than 9 or 10. She wanted mussels, and she sat there and just plucked every single mussel out of the shell. They had a marvelous time.
Yeah.
Not sure about the following morning for them, but hey, I'm not putting that out there.
Did they get some crepes?
Yeah, had to do it. Yeah.
Breakfast crepes.
So we've put beaches and cream. It's just had a refurb, and the thing that sort of caught my eye was the vegan cookie fries.
Ooh.
So it comes with 3 vegan dipping sauces with strawberry, chocolate, and marshmallow.
Probably not that healthy.
But it's
Worth a try.
Interesting.
a sort of cookie dough with chocolate chips and 3 dipping sauces.
So, lots of tips there if you want to eat that little bit healthier while you're at WDW on your next trip. I probably won't, but there we go. Sometimes you do get fed up of having heavy, big food that they tend to sell. So it is good to know that there is an alternative out there. A holiday at Walt Disney World costs a fortune these days. So we put our heads together to find some ways you can have a romantic time at WDW without blowing the budget. And I don't just mean spooching on the back row of the bus back to the resort. So, who wants to go first? Tell us, Disney date on a budget of $50 or less.
Go on, I'll go first. Might as well. Okay, so you're at the boardwalk. You go to Ample Hills Creamery for an ice cream.
I knew you'd go, Claire. I knew you'd go first.
Oh no!
Brilliant.
I'll start again. You're at the boardwalk. You go to... I can't even say it.
Ample Hills Creamery.
That's the one. Okay, so you're at the boardwalk. You go to Ample Hills Creamery for an ice cream. You take a slow stroll with the ice cream round to the beach at Yacht and Beach Club, and it's getting dark and Epcot Forever with fireworks going on in the background. All it costs you is an ice cream, so about $12. That's my Disney date on a budget.
Yeah, cheap night out there, Ben.
Yep.
Lovely.
So many nice things for me to look forward to.
And also it's cheaper, especially if you're on the dining plan. You can use a snack credit.
Cheap date.
No
Yeah.
expenses spared, Becca.
I know, aren't I lucky?
Who's next?
I'll go next. Mine is a little bit more elaborate than that. I'm a sucker for a stroll around Epcot's Food and Wine Festival. And during February, we have the opportunity to enjoy something similar, albeit a scaled down version during the Epcot Festival of the Arts. This looks a great festival with beautiful visual displays, fun activities, live music, and even eye-popping food. So, assuming you have park tickets already, what could you get for your $50? Well, I couldn't find prices online, but usually dishes at the festivals hover around $5 to $8. So, with careful planning and a willingness to share, you can have a light but enjoyable meal. And as Lady and the Tramp can attest, sharing food can be so romantic. So, how about starting with some lobster chips from the refreshment port? These are house-made potato chips with lobster and a lobster bisque cheese sauce, pickled jalapenos and citrus cream. Maybe skip the pickled jalapenos if it's a first date. At the Masterpiece Kitchen, you can follow up with some wild mushroom risotto with parmesan, truffle shavings and a Zinfandel reduction. Truffle is just one of those luxurious foods that really spells date night to me, and a little does go a long way. And then you can head to the artist's table for a chocolate and beer pairing flight, drink and dessert at one go. Finally, you can linger near the America Gardens Theatre to catch some big Broadway names performing. Dinner and a show, what's not to like?
Very good.
Yeah.
Sounds
Creative.
lovely.
Well done, Joe.
Very nice.
Very nice.
You need to be careful about what you eat though if you're on a date.
Absolutely. Again, no garlic chips. No. Unless you're both having them.
What a cheese. Does cheese have a cheese has a nasty smell? I don't know.
Depends on the cheese.
I saw somebody on my Facebook feed today had changed their status to in a relationship with cheese.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, I can relate.
Actually,
to
it
that.
wasn't yours.
It wasn't mine, no, but I can relate.
Well, I'll go next. And I'm going to cheat. I'm going to add an extra $5 because I believe it is $55 now, not $45 when we did it, to go on a carriage ride around Port Orleans. It's really, really nice. It's a great thing to do. We really enjoyed it, didn't we?
We did.
As I said, when we did it, it was 45. I believe now it's 55, so I'm pushing it a little bit. It didn't even spoil it when they waited for the horse to relieve themselves on the grass in Port Orleans. But,
that might have been your recollection of further.
That well-remembered romantic evening, Peter.
When the horse was defecating.
It was a chilly night. So sat next to each other in a carriage with a blanket.
How long does the ride last for?
It was nearly an hour, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was quite long.
Come on, Claire, a cold night.
Yes, it lasted about an hour.
It lasted about an hour.
It was a nice slow journey around the resort. We got to see French Quarter as well.
Stop.
Trying to move on from thinking about the horse here.
You get a long trip in the carriage. Okay, it takes you right round both French Quarter and Riverside. And yeah, it's really, really worth it, and it is a really romantic thing to do. Who's next?
I'll go next. I've chosen a little hidden gem of an opportunity at Walt Disney World, and there's no need for a park ticket, and at a cost of just $45 for half an hour, you can actually hire your own motorboat and explore Bay Lake and the Seven Seas Lagoon. You get spectacular views of Discovery Island, Wilderness Lodge, Magic Kingdom, and each of the monorail resorts. And the view of each of them is completely unique. Bring a picnic to enjoy whilst on board. There's no need for a reservation, you just turn up. And you can actually add more time if you want to. But the choice of boats at a fraction of the price of the specialty cruises is really something that I feel would be a really good day out and a good opportunity to actually go and do something that's completely different that nobody else knows an awful lot about.
Cool, thanks, John.
I think it's a really good idea.
That sounds really cool. I didn't know it was that cheap to rent a boat, actually.
Yeah.
It is, but don't tell anybody.
Also, you'll be able
Just
to get
between us, is it?
Yes.
You'll be able to get the on the boat. You'll be able to see what's happening with Reflections, the new resort that's being built.
Yeah,
it's lovely, Ben, because actually, I must admit, we did it last summer, and the boat that we actually got was a Sun Tracker, which holds 10 guests. There was 8 of us, because obviously we weren't on a smoochy sort of husband wife thing. We were actually taking all the kids and another family with us as well, but it was to celebrate my birthday. A fantastic day out, and at the time they were still clearing river country, and so for me that was such a really important thing, because you get to see Discovery Island. Then we got to take the boat a little bit closer towards river country while it was still there. And one of the worst things of all, we actually saw a tree that's actually within Bay Lake, where if you're a retiring captain from any of the Disney river cruises or anything like that, you throw your white trainers over this tree when you retire. No, not something I've really known about before, but when we saw it, it was just like one of them things. But to actually see Discovery Island and then to go into the sort of Seven Seas Lagoon and to see Magic Kingdom from such a peculiar place, bearing in mind if you are driving your boat to keep an eye out for the ferry, because they get a bit twitchy when you when you're in the ferry lane going towards Magic Kingdom. But it's a brilliant experience. And at $45 for half an hour is an absolute snip, and really worth doing.
We found out about that tree with the white trainers a couple of years ago, so I've never heard about it before.
Yeah.
One of the skippers on the boat over to Wilderness Lodge told us about it. I think it was Wilderness Lodge.
Yeah, it probably would have been Wilderness Lodge. Yeah, you could see it on that.
So who's next?
I'll go next. So mine first involves a trip to one of the many confectioneries on property at Disney for some chocolate dipped strawberries. And then a trip over to Animal Kingdom Lodge, grab a nice cup of coffee and sit down and watch the animals just as the sun is setting, drinking your coffee and eating those strawberries. $35 if you want a good dozen. And the price for the coffee, yeah. Or you can be a bit more expensive and get a nice bottle of wine.
That's your budget, John. So there's one tip I was going to say. If anyone is going out and celebrating an anniversary, let your front desk know. Because we arranged for a surprise for our 5th wedding anniversary, and we got a plate of chocolate covered strawberries gifted to us.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, but Mickey Magic.
When we went for our anniversary, we got anniversary badges, and extra desserts were coming out of our ears. They'd like to celebrate with you.
And it's just nice to have someone walk past you and say happy anniversary or happy birthday or congratulations.
Yeah, I agree.
No matter what you're celebrating, grab those badges from either your hotel or guest services.
Yeah. Who's left?
Anybody? That's me.
Oh, Claire. Yeah. Claire.
So, the caveat to this is that if Dan and I go out on a night, just the two of us, we are not the couples go for the candlelit meal. We're the people that go for a curry on Valentine's night, but we leave it a couple of days later because we don't want to go out with all the other people. So my night as a date night could be a little bit different. It's got something for everyone. So I would start the evening, an early evening drink on the Boathouse Dockside Bar, which is on the little pier outside the Boathouse at Disney Springs. And I'd start the evening with a couple of strawberry gin fizzes, one each. They're about $13 each, and half a dozen oysters. And the best ones that we found are they're called the Lucky Ducks, and they are grown especially for the boathouse. So that's the only expenditure on the evening. It comes to exactly $50, so I'm within budget. That's without tip, but we won't talk about that. And then from Disney Springs, jump on the boat to Port Orleans Riverside. Now, I would suggest going on a Wednesday to a Saturday, because from 8:30 until midnight you can go and catch Yeehaw Bob and his show, which is loads of fun. So a bit of romantic, sun going down outside the at Disney Springs, and it's beautiful sitting around the bar outside the boathouse watching the sunset. Then a bit of fun over it with Yeehaw Bob. That'd be my choice. Bang on $50, and you don't need a park ticket.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm not shocked it includes alcohol.
So rude. Has anyone ever been to see Yeehaw Bob?
No.
Yes. He's funny. He's brilliant.
All I've seen is a few clips on YouTube.
Yeah.
He is hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah.
We stayed at Riverside first time we went, and yeah, he's brilliant. Sammy.
Yes, so I thought I would go for a completely free date. Well, in regards to buying stuff on Disney property anyway. You are allowed to take food into the parks. This is a question that a lot of people ask. You are, as long as there's no alcohol. As long as there's no alcohol. What the hell? Okay.
Have you had any alcohol recently?
I haven't. I'm just tired. As long as there's no alcoholic beverages and no glass containers, no ice, and the bag or container can't be larger than 24 by 15 by 18 inches. I checked all this on the website. It's legit. You can bring food in. So I would pack a little picnic and a little blanket and take it to Magic Kingdom. I would maybe even like a wee breakfast picnic, like some croissants or something, or like an early dinner type, because I wouldn't want to sit in the sun like between 12 and 2 or 3. But anytime outside those hours, a wee picnic out in front of Plaza Gardens, in front of the castle. Just kind of one of my favourite things to do is people watch. I love to just kind of sit and watch people and take it all in.
That sounds very nice.
Yeah. Off with an ice cream from the plaza.
Yeah, I was going to say if you wanted to, add a Disney expense, you could get an ice cream for dessert from Disney.
I think that's a good idea, Sammy, and I think one of the best things about where they updated the central hub a few years ago was to put the AstroTurf in. Actually, it does rain in Orlando, funnily enough, and any grass just becomes a quagmire. So having the Astro there means that you can sit on it, and if it gets wet, then it dries off really quickly. So being able to do that with a little picnic, or as Yogi Bear would say, a picnic.
The sight lines are so much better as well. If you look back on historical photographs from the 80s in particular, the trees that were planted within the hub had actually started to grow to such an extent that if you were at the AstroTurf Bay, you wouldn't see an awful lot. And once they removed them, it's added an awful lot to that area, and it really is. It's not a bad spot really there.
So my date night is using the full budget, but also taking advantage of a lot of free things, free entertainment, free transport, and the likes, because I like a good bargain, and especially if I'm spending a full $50, I want to get something in addition to it. So we're going to start off wherever we're staying, one of the Disney resorts. We'll get the boat. We'll get the bus to Magic Kingdom. So we'll be at the Magic Kingdom bus stop, and then we're going to walk over and we're going to get the boat to the Poly. We're not going to go in the Poly, but we're going to take a nice little walk, hopefully as the sun's going down, from the Poly over to the Grand Floridian. We'll start and pay our respects at the lighthouse, and then we'll go into the Grand Floridian, have a meander around, and have a little listen to the band outside Meisner's Lounge. If it still is Meisner's Lounge. I know it was getting redone. No, I can't remember the name of it. What's the name of it now?
Enchanted Rose.
The Enchanted Rose.
Rose. I've had a lovely night in Miser's Lounge as well. I've got some really nice memories of
me too.
our honeymoon there. Yeah, that's a
It's really
shame.
nice. It was really nice.
Because they've sort of expanded it. And
Yeah,
they've taken where
there's
they
space
were
for the
and
band.
downstairs, I think.
Right. We had, on our honeymoon, we went in there one night. We got a bottle of champagne. I remember thinking it was quite reasonable as well. I don't know if just the exchange rate was better back then. And then it was our honeymoon. We'd lost Emma's gran the week before the wedding. And then we were sitting in Miser's Lounge, raising a glass of champagne to her gran. And then the band played the song from her funeral. Played When I Fall in Love, It Will Be Forever.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Isn't
so
it funny
it's
how
crazy.
things just happen like that sometimes?
Yeah. So it was a lovely little night. So it's a shame that's gone. But we will find the other location of the band on this date night, and we'll listen to the band for free. Hopefully they'll play a song that resonates with us. And then we'll go up to the monorail stop, get the monorail from the Grand Floridian to the Contemporary. And hopefully, if we're early enough and we're lucky, we'll go up and we'll get a seat in the Cali Grill Lounge. So this is where we spend our budget. So we've got a High Life beer for me, a glass of Sauvignon for my date, and something to eat to fill the budget. So we've got either pepperoni pizza or a cheese board, and that brings us to a grand total of $49.50, not including tip. So they're going to get a nice 50-cent, and we will run when they chase us. But because we're up in Cali Grill Lounge, we've got a bit more free entertainment because of its certain evenings, certain times, we'll get the fireworks. So that'd be quite nice. And if we're slow with our drinks, because we don't have a budget for a second drink, we can take our drinks out onto the viewing platform and enjoy those as the fireworks sort of frame our night for us. What do you think?
You had me at cheese board.
I think cheese board and also meat platter as well, all for roughly the same price, about $23.
I think you can add on a bit more for your tip as well, Lloyd.
Yeah, I would do.
Just before we have everyone phoning in complaining.
Last time we were at Cali Grill as well, with the fireworks about to start, everyone was going out onto the nearest viewing platform. Server told us to go out on the other one where it was quieter, but I think you've got a slightly better view as well, weirdly.
Right.
So when everyone's heading out one way, go out the other. You get a bit more of a private experience. Yeah, so a bit of a hotel tour, food and drink, fireworks, music, all for $50. I'm happy with that.
Lovely.
Have we all done California Grill before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No?
No.
No, I haven't actually. It's one of the two, apart from Victoria and Albert's, but we've got kids, so that doesn't really work. The two signatures we haven't done. Haven't done that. Haven't done Narcissus.
It's the only signature we've done.
I'd say it's the only one we have done.
To be honest, it wasn't our favourite. We were very late getting there because there were delays on the monorail. Serious delays on the monorail. We arrived about half an hour late. And so we were really rushed. And the service felt very brusque. It was my birthday, and it was probably the least special part of the day. We had breakfast at Ohana with Lilo and Stitch and so on, and that was brilliant. We did mini golf, Fantasia golf. We had a bit of time to relax back at Port Orleans, and we were going on to Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. And so our meal was at California Grill, and it was really the least special part of the day. It felt very rushed, and the service was very indifferent.
And the server kept calling Jill dear.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Right.
Hello,
What can I
dear.
get you, dear?
What can I get you, dear? What's for you, my dear?
We've had a sort of opposite experience at Cali Grill. It was one of the most special nights we had on our honeymoon. They knew it was our honeymoon when we checked in downstairs. Went up in the lift. Went over to the table. They had us a table by the window with little Mickey glitter things. You know those annoying things you get sometimes with birthday cards or presents you unwrap and they go all over the floor and you can never hoover them up. Well, our table was covered in those. So that was nice. And then we got the server came over 2 glasses of champagne for us.
Wow.
which wasn't from Disney. It was from a couple we were chatting to on the lift, on the way up.
Wow.
Oh,
They
That's
sent it over. They said we reminded them of them on their honeymoon 20 years ago when they'd come to Disney for it.
oh,
So they sent it over for us. So that was cool. And then out on the veranda for the fireworks after the meal. Well, the meal was lovely. Had like an ox. I think was it an ox? No, bison steak.
Ooh,
That was
nice.
great, rare, lovely, pink. Oh, it was beautiful.
Was it wrapped in aubergine?
It was just there. It was just mooing. I had to take the horns off, and that was beautiful. Oh, it's spot on for me, that. And then out on the viewing platform for the fireworks, which was really emotional. I don't know if it was the Woodford Reserve I was drinking, or the fireworks or the moment that made me a little bit tearful. And then as we were leaving, we met this. I saw this girl at the bar that I'd seen in Epcot that day, and she'd asked me about the IPA I'd bought from one of the little stands in the food and drink festival. So as I was passing, I just said, "Oh, do you like that beer today?" And she remembered me from the daytime. She was there with her husband, and we had a few drinks with them. And then they were quite tipsy and picked up our tab at the end of the night as well, which was great.
Wow.
Which would have been about 8. Me and the chat were drinking a lot of Woodford Reserve. We probably went through about 3/4, probably half a bottle, maybe more. And the girls were on wine and Baileys. And then they just picked it up.
Wow.
You know that as soon as they hear this, they're going to chase you down.
Yeah.
You'll never find me.
The bill.
They would say, Disney never let leave anyone stranded, do they? Really, in the near the parks. So we missed the last monorail. So we went down to the bus station. We climbed over a railing. The girl from this other couple fell over and rolled down the little bit of the grass bank. And this fella, the Disney cast member, jogged over with his little radio, asked us where we were going. They were going to Polly, we were going to Grand Floridian. And the next thing, just this whole Disney bus pulls up to take us home.
Wow.
And then was it the sweep up the drunk people bus?
It was, yeah. Well, then the bus started moving, and within about 5 seconds, the girl from the couple was asleep and snoring. So we just say, "Can we go to the Grand Floridian first, please? Just drop us off." Yeah, that was a cracking night. So we've had this sort of opposite experience to you there, Jill, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thanks all. Some ideas I've written down in my little black book there for later. And now it's that time we all like. And now it's that time that we all like. The time when people tell us what they're celebrating this month. Yes, it's time for the Mickey Mentions. And we have one this time from our very own Ben and Becca.
We'd love a Mickey mention for our February trip. We'll be off to make use of our newly purchased Disneyland Paris annual passes, assuming you manage to get them. Staying for 3 nights at Sequoia Lodge, and we'll be meeting up with family while there. We expect it to be busy, as it is half term, but hoping to achieve one of our New Year's resolutions of going on a ride which goes upside down. We're both really excited to see the new Frozen celebration and Legends of the Force. We have a couple of meals booked, and they include Cafe Mickey and Silver Spur Steakhouse.
Have a good time, guys. The what's it called salad at Silver Spur is very good. The salad.
What's it called salad? That's what it
The
says on
what's
the
it
menu.
called salad. Come on.
I'll ask.
What's that in French, Peter?
The salad. What's it called?
Le salade, je ne sais pas.
Je ne sais pas. Oh, what's it called?
You said the word salad.
Salad
That means
Frank
it's not correct.
Yeah.
The Cobb salad is really nice at the Silver Spur.
Yeah.
The Cobb salad is definitely worth it. Again, like it at WDW, it is quite big. So if you're going to have it, bear that in mind. But it is very nice. And the steak is quite good.
Yeah, we went for the more expensive menu when we ate there last time. We'd heard 1 or 2 reports of less than stellar steaks. So we opted for the more expensive option. And actually, it was really, really nice. It was a very good steak. It was perfectly cooked. And our server was hilarious. He kept walking past and just randomly doing Donald Duck impressions for no reason whatsoever. He was absolutely hilarious. Just a lovely, lovely guy. So there you go.
also, I want to say well done for planning on going your first upside down ride. I'm proud of you guys.
Indiana Jones.
Hopefully.
I
That's
would
the plan.
suggest Hyperspace Mountain, though. I didn't really like Indiana Jones that much. I thought it was quite rough. Does anyone else feel this, or is it just me?
Yeah, I wouldn't choose that as my first.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Hyperspace Mountain is an amazing ride.
We'll probably end up doing both.
But
It's fab.
Place first, so you don't get put off by Indiana Jones.
We're going to try and do Crush's Coaster first.
Oh yeah, Crush.
Because that's something we've wanted to do for a while.
Yeah.
the advantage of making Indiana Jones your first ride that goes upside down is that the loop is over very quickly.
Yeah, that was why we chose that one.
Yeah.
I think
You're
Hyperspace
hard
is great
enough.
though, because it distracts you. There's so many other things going on.
And it'll be all Star Wars.
Completely
things
distracts
as well.
you from
It's in the dark.
everything else.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's a lot smoother. It's a lot better for as a ride. I would say Indiana Jones is a bit rough.
Okay.
I always think that Indiana Jones is sort of over before it's really started.
Yeah,
It was better
and, yeah,
because originally it used to go backwards, and that was an interesting experience.
that
I
would,
did that a few times.
yeah. Thumbs down for Indiana, thumbs up for Hyperspace.
The shaking about and almost breaking your back is part of the Indiana Jones.
And that's part of the
wonderful.
filming, is it?
Everest
Okay.
ride.
Oh, okay.
I'll take a pass.
Indiana Jones or Expedition Everest.
Everest.
Ooh, Everest every time.
Oh, Everest. Yeah.
Oh, that's all right then. Shouldn't
Yeah.
be too bad.
So maybe the listeners can comment in the
Indeed.
forum which ride should Ben and Becca do first,
That's
Indiana
right.
Jones or Hyperspace Mountain?
Yeah.
Maybe we should
Put
put a
up a
poll up.
poll.
I'll put up a
Because
poll up.
Put up a poll.
if you've done Everest, then you're fine because it doesn't go upside down. It just feels like it.
I hated Everest.
It's brilliant.
Oh, you'll be fine.
Loved
Becca.
Hagrid, hated
Yeah,
Everest.
but hyperspace should be fine because you get Star
Hyperspace.
Wars.
I love Hyperspace.
This is true.
It's so good.
Amazing ride.
Yeah,
And Hyperspace is open in early magic time.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
So
is.
you can get it done early.
Like
Straight after breakfast.
Before breakfast.
Or straight after breakfast.
Yeah. It's literally a walk on first thing.
Yeah.
I also, I would say when you go to Silver Spur, have a really close look at some of the detailing in the restaurant.
Yes.
The light fittings, the chairs. There's
Yeah.
some beautiful, clever little things that you might miss if you don't look carefully. So take some time looking around the restaurant.
Yeah, but
It's bad.
looking forward to it because last time I only spent sort of a day and a half.
Yeah.
It's nice to
Well,
have a few sort of
It's less than a day and a
sort
half,
of 4
really.
days, 3
Yeah.
nights, 4 days. So
You have loads of time. Take your time.
Don't need to rush it this time.
no,
Be nice.
You can tell us all about it when you come back.
yep. I
And
feel like
since you're in Paris, you can go for a crepe later.
I think there's a crepe booth still there, John.
There is, yes. Yeah.
we'll be sure to take a photo.
French crepe.
Anyway, have a great time, guys. I'm sure you will. We love Disneyland Paris, and I'm sure that you will too. Okay, if you'd like a Mickey mention on a future show, whether it's for a birthday, anniversary, a holiday, or maybe that big reveal, you can email us at themickeywaffle@gmail.com. You can also follow us on all the usual social media platforms, including Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Well, that just about wraps it up. Gym bag in hand, we're going home. See you next month, and remember, waffle on.